How is it in 2023 with a studio like Arcane? Do we have a game like Redfall come out? I would never tell anyone to spend $70 on Redfall at this point. I wouldn't even tell people to spend $30 on this game. And Redfall feels like it should be a $30 game. It feels like even an early access game at this point. And it got released in a 1.0 state, quote unquote. And if this is the quality of game that Arcane is going to be putting out with our Microsoft merger, I have no confidence in the studio moving forward. To be fair, I was a fan, and I will still be a tentative fan of Arcane since the days of Prey, Dishonored, Dishonored 2, and even Deathloop. I was a defender of Deathloop, even though a lot of people find it as one of the weaker titles of the aforementioned games that I just stated. I loved Deathloop for what it was. Here's the problem. How do you go from a single player, high movement, arcade-esque shooter system like Deathloop and put it into something like Redfall? You don't. So what do? You slow it down. You became more grounded. And I understand. Like, I followed all the red flags as well. I was following this game as closely as I could. I knew about the delays. I knew about the online-only feature. I knew that the host was only getting progression. I knew that not everyone could play the same character at the same time. Like, you would have to play each distinctive character that's in the world, which means you couldn't run around with like 4 robot buddies, 4 raven dudes, whatever. That's fine if mechanically the game worked. But mechanically, the game doesn't work. It is a technical nightmare. Frame drops, AI issues, just inconsistencies because of the always online feature makes Redfall not only a slog to get through, but it is so bland. It doesn't even have the flavorings of an Arcane Studios game, which is crazy because I played the intro section, solid 20 minutes. Phenomenal. You have a wall of water going upwards. You meet the big bad themselves. You see the cultists doing their culty things. And you're like, wow, even though we have all these little hiccups with the always online and the cap frame rates, whatever, at least we're playing an Arcane game. And then 20 minutes onward, it just falls apart into itself. I had enemies just looking at me saying like, hey, what's up? How's it going? Because they didn't recognize I was standing right in front of them. And then I would just like drill them in the head. I cannot understand the life of me why we have a world populated with housing that you cannot enter at all unless you find the special door or use a special key for the special door. Especially when we had a game like Dishonored and Deathloop that was like, hey, all these windows are open or breakable, all these doors you can get through, or most of the doors you can get through, and we're going to give you alternative paths to explore. And then Redfall says, here's an entire world to explore, and they shut up half of it. More than half, like 60% of it. I'm just baffled by some of the design decisions that they made. I don't understand why you can't respec, and why the guy came out and said, well, respecing is something of a cop-out that, you know, like other games are doing. Guess what? Experimentation is a huge part of these games now, where you try to optimize your build as much as you can. I'm not going to try to hang on to all 6,000 skill points just because you say that once I use them, I can never use them again. That would be something that could be fixed down the road, but it just keeps piling on. It just keeps piling on more and more. There is nothing happening in this open world. Skyrim has more going on in their world than Redfall does in theirs. And Skyrim has a map 3 times the size of Redfall. I swear to you. And even though, you know, Skyrim has like the occasional cart guy, the occasional bandit, jumperoonie, dragon coming out, whatever, right? Like it's it's not like few and far between. It's like little specks. Basically, it's like 3 people, 4 people. It happens regularly enough, is what I'm trying to get at. That's the reason why I keep playing a game like Skyrim. That is an open world game, right? Or something like Far Cry, where I can turn the corner and then, hey, there's like a cultist like thing happening, blow it all up, or go save a safe house and like take it over. Redfall has you running most of the time and then flipping on a switch, and then the safe house is done. Nothing else is happening. There's nothing happening, and I swear, I have a recollection that they were trying to push this idea of like procedurally generated vampire nests, and I played for 3 hours and I didn't find a single nest. Like how do you market a game that is like, oh, there's always something going on, always something doing, and then there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. You have 3 factions that should be like interacting with each other. You have the resistance group, which is like the town folk. You have the cultists, who are like the dissenters to the vampires, and they're like, hey, vampires don't kill us, and we'll like feed you well, and please don't kill us. And then you have like the big pharma bro police force that's like, hey, we're basically gonna try to clean up the mess that we made. And then they're not doing anything on the map unless you run over to like a main quest or a side quest, and then they just happen to be in the vicinity of each other, and then they shoot at each other. Like, it just, I don't know. I don't know what went through their heads when they were building this game. I don't know why they released in this state. There are speculations that they're going to try to do the Sea of Thieves thing and like build onto itself. Like this is like the base plate, but I don't want a base plate for $70. I want a base plate plus all the things that you're supposed to be putting on top of the base plate. Like all the cool little things to be looking at under the microscope. But it's not there. It is nowhere to be found. This is a terrible, terrible game. It is, at best, a 5 out of 10. And the best is few and far between. I would tell you, take your $70, invest it somewhere else. Or spend it on an indie darling. And if you have the Game Pass, don't even worry. Don't spend your time waiting for the 100 gig download. There's literally like another game coming out, Ravenlock, that I'm going to be checking out. Because I just need to like wash the taste out of my mouth of the bitter disappointment that I have received from playing Redfall. Anyways, catch you all on the flip-flop. Till next time.